Hello everyone, welcome back to another video by Minelaughter's Geography. Today we're going to be talking about Iran. So Iran, or the Islamic Republic of Iran, is a Middle Eastern country located west of Pakistan, east of Iraq, and south of the former Soviet republics, and south of the former Soviet republics, like Turkmenistan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, etc. Similar to Saudi Arabia, Iran has lots of oil reserves, which the British and Russians knew about when they invaded the country twice in the 1800s and 1940s. After the British and Russians left Iran, the CIA secretly launched a coup which overthrew the popular Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh and was replaced with the monarch Reza Shah. Reza Shah of Iran was the last leader of the imperial state of Iran and was allied closely with the United States, whilst also being a harsh dictator. In 1978 and in 1979, the Iranians had enough and overthrew the Shah in the 1979 Iranian Revolution, revolution, led by a religious man named Ayatollah Khomeini. He was mostly Shia. Khomeini reshaped Iran and proudly showed off its Shia origins. Surrounded by its Sunni neighbors. Sunni and Shia are different types of Islam, basically just like different dialects, like how there's English in Canada and English in America. They're closely linked, but like still different, like almost enough to be like separate countries. Khomeini tried exploiting the revolution and set proxy militias to help fight Shia fighters, turn the tide. And sent proxy militias to help Shia fighters turn the tide of the Lebanese civil war. With the support of another person named Qasem Soleimani, an Iranian general, Iran was able to spread its influence into neighboring countries like Lebanon, Israel, Yemen, Libya, Iraq, and Syria, closing in on their largest Sunni neighbor, Saudi Arabia. However, when Khomeini was still alive, Saddam Hussein, the fifth president of Iraq, second Ba'athist president, invaded Iran to prevent the Iranian Revolution from spreading into Iraq. He wanted to take the oil reserves Iran owned and topple the regime, but his plan failed. Over 1 million people died. And there was no major border changes. After the 2003 invasion of Iraq, George W. Bush, one of the 43rd president of the U.S., announced his axis of evil list, which included countries that had authoritarian governments like Belarus, Iraq, Libya, North Korea, and Iran. Including Iran, of course. To this day, Iranian aggression has increased tensions in the region, and multiple cargo ships from around the world have been taken by the Iranian Navy. The U.S. and the world fears that in the event of a conflict with Iran, they could easily block off the Strait of Hormuz and block tons of oil supplies to countries around the world, notably those in East Asia like South Korea, Japan, and the People's Republic of China, 3 countries who heavily rely on oil from Iran and in the Middle East, and also they're like the 3 like largest economies in the world. Like South Korea is like the 12th largest, China is the 2nd largest, Japan is the 3rd largest. So China, that's why we want to stop Iran from being so aggressive without actually declaring war like Russia did with Ukraine. Anyway, this has led to mass sanctions on Iran, but they were lifted during the Obama administration. And now Iran is expanding their influence to change the tide of the Syrian and Yemeni wars, or Yemenis wars. Basically, the reason that Obama lifted sanctions on Iran was because he wanted to stop their nuclear program.